Welcome to episode 144 of the Postgame Pod. I am Yale Saunders here with Evan Hollywood Hearn and Mr. Prime. We're dealing with another L, man. This Eagles football team fought. Granted, there's people injured, guys injured. Lane Johnson goes down, but they fought to the very end. We got put in a situation. Well, if I'm going to be specific about the situation, Nick Gary got put in a situation at the end of the game that a lot of Eagle fans saw it coming. The thing that angers me the most is some of the things that I was talking about pregame was, running the football, having Miles Sanders score a long touchdown. He gave us that. Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson managed the football game. Didn't have turnovers until the very end, which really hurt us. That was a bad turnover, put the defense in a bind. Guys stepping up. Travis Fulgham, 13 catches on the day. 13 targets, 10 catches for 152 yards and a touchdown. Greg Ward also had a touchdown as well. But I felt like this Eagles team was this close. And you're going up against a good football team, but you're looking at this Eagles team in the situation they were in. And sometimes when it gets down to these close games, it's coaching. It's putting your players in the best positions to win. And I felt like we all saw it. And I talked about that pre-game about separating Nate Gary from the herd, how offensive coordinators will find a way. They will find a way, whether it was against the Rams, tight ends making big plays. Now Claypool in this game making a big play, separating him from the pack, and you take advantage. It's very disheartening because I felt like they could have gotten a win here. Guys, how you feeling?
Disappointed. I'm very disappointed. I agree with you in the fact that I think if better decisions were made, we could have ultimately won that game. Before I even get to the Nate Gary thing, you look at prior to the end of the half, the clock management was just completely atrocious. I have no idea what the hell Doug Peterson was thinking there, wasting that timeout, and then they had no timeout when they were actually in field goal range. You should have, without a doubt, on that drive, walked away with at least 3 points.
Yeah, and then the receivers was out of bounds. Didn't go out of bounds on that one play.
Yeah, and then when Prime, you mentioned it when you first came in this room, and I completely agree with you. I mean, we've been clowning Nate Gary, and he's been playing like absolute dog shit all year long, and I totally get that. But we all recognize that. The coaching staff recognizes that. The other team recognizes that. And so why on earth are you putting your least effective defensive player on the field on the guy who's been the most effective all game long versus you? Chase Claypool absolutely butchered us the entire game, and the game's on the line, and you decide to put Nate Gary on him, a linebacker, covering a wide receiver who has been burning our corners all day. You put a linebacker on him, our worst linebacker. It's inexcusable. And to me, I'm sorry, dude. This was, in my mind, this should be Jim Schwartz's last game coaching as a defensive coordinator for the Eagles, man. He's got to go. That's it. It's inexcusable. He's been awful all year long, and this was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. The one positive I could pull from this game is the Travis Fulgham story. I mean, my man was playing unbelievably. Everything that went his way, he was pulling down. It seemed he played really, really well, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. But other than that, like the glaring issue is Jim Schwartz. It's these linebackers, which we've known about, and that's what teams are game planning against, and we're making it too easy for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, like you said, I mentioned about Nate Gary. That was on Schwartz all the way. There's a lot of takeaways from this game. I felt like Carson played a good game. The line held to an extent. I mean, not towards that last series. Of course, they were getting hammered by Dupree and Watts, but they played a good game. They had a good. It showed that when Carson plays with the same guys that he's been practicing all week with, you get better results. Fulham, like he shocked the world today. The way he was playing his games. I mean, I was watching that kid run his routes, and it was like, holy shit! Like, that's what we need. And it's a shame that it takes a rookie to come in here and show some of these veterans, like, look, this is how it's done. But he stepped up. But yeah, it just sucks, like the way that, especially that last play came down. I just don't understand how you're going to go ahead and line up a linebacker up with a guy who's been killing you all fucking game. You know what I mean? And then, yes, Nate Gary at that. Like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it. It's very disappointing. You know what I mean? It looked like it was in our favor, especially the way we were coming back. Yeah. But fell short. And then that one little slip up cost us.
Fox, how you feeling over there, man?
What's up, guys? Shout out to Zach Ertz for being MIA again. Shout out to him. He just looks like he just looks like that guy that got his ex-girlfriend completely broke his heart, and he sees her running around with all these guys, and he can't do nothing about it but just sit there and
he looks like one of those cardboard cutouts that is in the stands right now. Okay, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
And Evan, you're not over-exaggerating to Jim Schwartz. We've done this every season with this man. How many games a year are we bitching about his decisions late in games? His bullshit picket fence defenses, all the prevent stuff. Real quick, I saw a thing of the Ravens today. They had 3 cornerbacks that had sacks today. Hey, Jim, that's called blitzing, brother. That's called blitzing. I mean, see stats like that, and it drives me nuts because I love that part of the defense that you can do that type of stuff, and we just don't see it here, and it's very frustrating. But there's nothing we can do as fans but bitch about it. That's all we can do about it. There's nothing else that can be done, or no action can be done. Obviously, I mean, I'm sorry, Gary, our boy White Snake, he's going to be on the team all year. I don't see them cutting him. They would have done it already.
Well,
it's
I
sad, man. He's going to be on the team all year.
He's a role player, and he's forced in a position that he shouldn't be out there. Like, and that goes to the coaching and the ability to see that he's a liability week in and week out. You cannot week in and week out put him out there, especially in situations where, I mean, you made Claypool look like he was Calvin Johnson out there. He's not Calvin Johnson, and he did make a lot of nice plays out there, but we need more from you, Schwartz. Like, I can't. I mean, you just hope Will Parks is getting better. Mm-hmm. That's the only vibe that I can connect with, is knowing that Will Parks might be down the road, because you got to feel like he's got to be better in coverage than Nate Gary. But let's go back to Carson Wentz. It's almost like we're expecting interception, like at least one from Wentz.
A game, for sure.
That's sad.
And I'm really wondering, like, you talk about the weapons on this team. Zach Ertz, number one target for Carson Wentz. How can they be not in sync or not on the right page? Because did Ertz? I didn't go back and watch the play yet, but did he? Is that on Ertz or is it on Wentz?
The first interception of the game?
Interception.
It seemed to me like Ertz could have definitely made more of an effort to go get it.
That I agree.
When I watched it at the game speed, that's what it seemed like to me. When I saw the replay, it could have just been the angle I was seeing it. It seemed like the ball was kind of out of Ertz's reach, but ultimately I think he could have made a better play on the ball.
Well, I mean, it was based off of the bump that he ended up getting, but at the same time, off of the bump, it didn't even look like he making an effort to get off of that. You're getting bumped all the time, dude. Come on.
Yeah. If there's one tight end in this entire league that I know that can't handle physicality, it's him.
Right. So, I can't put that one on Carson. I mean, Carson, it was just a quick release. The timing should have been there. But, again, you've been playing this game long enough. You know how to get off of a bump. And he just didn't even look like he wanted to be there, dude. That's the impression. That's the impression.
He looks like a senior in high school, man. Mm-hmm. Looks like a senior in high school.
The thing we talked about Travis Fulgham in the beginning of the show and what he represents in terms of a guy out there who's giving it his all. Like a guy who's fighting for every snap, every target and making the best of it. I mean, the dude came up and balled, and you're trying to look. You see Greg Ward coming up with plays as well. You're just hoping and wishing that I don't know what it is. Like it's almost like they're just going through the motions. Some of these players, and like they were this close. And you talk about losing Lane Johnson, what he means for this offensive line. You got guys out there that are Jack Driscoll, dude, Matt Pryor, like Jason Kelsey holding down the fort, Nate Herbig and Mailata, and we're this close. Like, come on, like that's what you have to think about. Like, okay, when we get some real like our healthy guys back, what could this team be? And you have second stringers out there who are fighting and clawing, and that's the only like if I'm going to take anything positive from this game. It's that I got to see some heart from the younger players.
Lots of heart today.
Yeah, and that, I think to me that's one thing that just goes even more back to Zach Ertz. Like you look at who we're going into this game with as our offensive weapons, we're very limited, and these are the games that we need a player like Zach Ertz who has the Eagles record for most receptions in an entire year. These are the games we need you to step up, man. We're not even halfway through the season, and things are looking so bleak as far as our record, and we really need to turn the season around. And for you to just be MIA in a game like this, in a game that honestly, like it's crazy, like you said, it's crazy that we were in that game for as long as we were. We had an opportunity to win that game. The momentum was going in the right direction. And honestly, like Jim Schwartz isn't the only one that catches blame as far as these coaches. Doug Peterson had a poor day as well.
You think so?
I really do.
Second half, he went vanilla bean.
Second half is better. Think about this, Gail. When what was it? 57 yards for
you wanted to go for it?
No, I didn't want to go for it on that. If you're already in your mind have it made up that you're okay with taking the kick at that point, why don't you just run the ball in the play before instead of a little out pass that ends up going nowhere? But get a little bit closer for him.
Would you guys have been pissed if you went for it?
No, because I looked at that play. I like that he went for the field goal in that play. I wish that he would have gotten himself closer and prepared himself a little bit better for that field goal. But ultimately, I think that was a play where if he misses the field goal, people are going to blame him for not going for it. And you know what I mean? It was going to be a lose-lose situation.
He had confidence.
I might get my ass chewed out for this one. I might get my ass chewed out for this one, but even if they had punted and leaving it up to the defense to get us the ball back, I think I still would have been all right with that just as well.
Yeah.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, Soka?
Welcome to the show. Kanisha on Facebook says, offensively, this was a decent game for them. I thought I would have wanted to see more run for them. I got my it's crazy, man. We knew that Miles Sanders was going to try and overperform because he's in his hometown. He's going to try and ball out, and that's what he did. So, getting back to the run would have been a little bit nice. I still think the screen game really needs some work. We really missed that. But I'm looking in the chat. It's a lot of Jim Schwartz blame here. Ryan Lloyd from Facebook says offense was good. I don't know, man.
Man, I'm real, dude. I'm telling you right now, Gail. Like, I'm livid, bro. I'm so ready to cut loose from Jim Schwartz. I don't know if this is me being reactionary. I don't know, but this is like you said, Trucks. Every year we're having this discussion. It's the fire Jim Schwartz discussion. We talk about it every year, and then at the end of the season, he just does enough to be able to get the job done, and we don't think about it until this point in next season. I'm sick of it. Every year,
at this point in his first year, we were talking about we're going to get worried about someone taking him away from us to be a head coach. That's where we're at now. We've gone from that moment to this, where it's like now we just want him out of here. Before we were like, oh, we can't lose him. He's a great coordinator. Someone's going to bring him in as a head coach. Yeah, man. That ship sailed. You know what I'm saying?
Long gone.
Well, the other thing is, like, you look at, I knew Jalen Mills was going to start getting targeted. They started targeting him in the slant game and the cross game. I mean, that lack of speed shows up. I pregame, I'm thinking it's just Gary and Jalen Mills. Those are the guys that if I'm a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, I'm targeting those guys all day, every day. You know, I will say that the refs had a bad day today.
That was a rough
they gave
day for
us
the Stripes.
that even the Claypool call that they called back the touchdown, that was a ticky tack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think as refs, they need to call a fair game, but when it's starting to affect the flow of the game and some of the calls didn't make sense, you can see it. Even what they call a face mask on Brandon Graham, with the game's on the line here, it's like super ticky tack.
He looked beyond pissed, like it didn't even happen.
Giants just scored on a pick six. Sorry. Trying to keep at least some type of momentum for our first place.
Yeah.
We want that game a tie, right?
Yeah.
We want a tie. We want a tie in that game, don't we?
No. We want Giants to win because we still get the first place.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, all right. We all suck. It's hard to keep track.
We do. Listen, man, that's all right. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, Jeffrey on Twitter said the field goal was bad. It's Pittsburgh. You don't call a 57-yard field goal.
Yeah, they said that in the broadcast. Is that the longest field goal there? It was 53 yards.
54, 53,
Yeah. So historically, it's obviously a very windy city. I know it's a real mountainous area as well. Probably a lot of wind whipping through those valleys. So yeah, it's tough.
The weird part about it is like Jordan says Gary needs to go. Why didn't they put someone over else to cover Claypool? And you think about it, and you're like,
I don't know.
We're sitting there looking at it as fans. I remember I'm sitting there with my dad and my brother, and everyone's like, they're going to do something, right? They're going to throw to Claypool, right?
All right, all jokes aside, you got 4 linebackers right here, us 4. We're the reserve linebackers. You think any of us would have been able to cover Claypool?
No, I don't. I
just don't understand how you're going to put a linebacker.
My thing is like I would have got depth if I was Nate Gary.
My thing is that the game's on the line and you had a timeout, and you see that you're lining up Nate Gary, bro.
Yeah.
I like it's to me it's inexcusable. Like I just don't get how that play got called. I don't know how that coverage got called at all, man.
Now, Mark Bird on Facebook says 0 chemistry between Wentz and Ertz. How does something that was automatic just disappear?
Easy. You know what I mean? You lose your girlfriend in one day. I mean, it's just like that. You act like she doesn't exist anymore. That's what he's doing right now. He's only throwing passes to him at 1 a.m. when he's lonely. You know what I'm saying? He's not throwing passes at 8, 9 o'clock at night when he's trying to find something fun to do. It's nasty business you're in on a breakup, brother. It's nasty business. That's the vibe I'm getting. Did anybody else get a Joe Webb vibe when what's his name got his 4th touchdown of the game? Anybody else get that one?
No, I mean,
Claypool, go on the list.
Talented wide receiver.
I know he is, but it's a rookie guy. He comes out and gets 4 touchdowns against us today.
He had a couple good games earlier this year, and it's like, what comes that out of me? Like when watching Claypool dominate again, reminds me of how good the Steelers are at drafting wide receivers. They don't hold on to talent. The Eagles went out and interviewed a scouting coordinator from the Steelers. They didn't give him the job though.
Obviously, right?
I think they might have blocked it. I'm not sure, but this is what I'm talking about. Like, the Steelers know how to find talent. Like, this is their second round pick this year, and Mans just scored 4 touchdowns, and we made him look like Calvin Johnson, dude.
I can't remember the last time the Steelers didn't have a good wide receiver, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember.
Deontay Johnson, they brought him. This guy Ray out of nowhere, just making big plays, letting Antonio Brown walk. They have a Juju Smith-Schuster. They know how to find wide receivers, and it is depressing when you see that. James Brantley said, "Remind me of Ward down the stretch last year. Need more of those types on this team." The heart, man. Those guys showed a lot of heart, and that's why you're just kind of concerned. Like, how did we get to this point as a organization where you're relying on these guys to be your playmakers.
Yeah.
We went over the amount of money that the Eagles have poured into the cap space. What is it, 13% of the cap space? We're spending $30 million on this wide receiver group.
Mm.
And the guys that are making big plays make like $600,000 a year.
Bottom of the list.
So,
yeah, I mean,
all
honestly,
the money's
guys,
on the sidelines injured.
You guys want to have the Fulgham conversation now? I mean, once we got people healthy, like to me, after Fulgham's game today, and just the way he plays angry, the way he goes up and he can just come down with the ball, anything that's thrown his direction. When Rager comes back, man, I'm ready to go Rager, wide receiver 1, Fulgham 2. Who even is Deshaun Jackson? I don't know.
Hey, look, I agree with you, but at the same time, he needs time. You give Carson more better time than what he has in these past couple games, dude, right there, he shows that he could be explosive and he could go ahead and light this field up. And then with Miles Sanders contributing to what he did today, it's like we could be up there. But then you got to worry about the defense, giving up as many points as us scoring the points. Like, what the hell? I don't want to keep on. I don't good. Yeah,
Chat has a question.
I'm getting asked, am I still rocking with Nate Jerry? Bro, that wasn't like, I mean, like, look, Nate Jerry, he had, it was foul, man. It was foul that Jim Schwartz put him in that position.
Yeah.
I couldn't have even covered Claypool, bro. No way. No way.
Well, no, and like, yeah, man, just to like, I know we're stuck on that. That's what everybody's thinking about is that play in particular. But going into that play, like everybody was on the same page. It doesn't even matter who was covering Claypool. My man was on fire the entire game. Everybody in the stadium, everyone on the sidelines, everyone on the field knows they're drawing up a play to go to Claypool. That's been the guy that's been killing them all day long. So prepare for it.
The comments, I'm like trying to keep up with the comments here. Boy, Paul says it all boils down to coaching. You got to get the best out of the players you have. We won a Super Bowl and think we have all the answers forever now. The NFL changes every year, need to adjust. That's a good point. I mean, adjusting with the league, following the trends, especially offensively. But defensively, the trend week after week is Nate Gary being targeted. As long as they can get him out of the way, it's like I've been crying for years, like the security system. We lock down the front doors. We lock down the side doors with the corners.
Mm-hmm.
Now we leave the attic open with Nate Gary leaving the damn window open in coverage. And that's how you win now. Like, talk about having a playmaker at the linebacker position. How nice would that be?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm praying for Will Parks and his health, whatever it takes. I heard the injury was a little bit more serious than expected, but we need a coverage linebacker in the worst way.
Yeah. I mean, it's a two-part issue, really, is that we have no tools and we've got no good chef as well, as far as this defense. You know what I mean? You're only as good as what you got. Jim
Schwartz
going
out here with no spices, man. Put some spice on it.
Yeah.
Like
the idiot going to the grocery stores and getting the wrong ingredients, bro. He's messing up.
Well, we got a dumbass chef cooking with spoiled meat. That's what we got.
Yeah, shout out to David Johnson. Ertz getting a $12 million a year, and he wants Kittle and Kelsey money. What the hell is even that? I know he was going to take less, but then it's weird how the organization has decided to lower that offer, the initial offer. So obviously the Eagles were feeling a certain way. Now, but again, we can go back to Howard Roseman and talk about, did that cause a divide somewhere in the locker room with Ertz and the team?
Who knows?
I don't know.
I don't know neither.
Sorry, I'm scrolling through the. I'm trying to keep up with the comments as well. Everybody, I'm seeing so much Ertz trade Ertz.
White snake.
Yeah, white snake. I mean, it sounds like Eagles fan base is fixing for a fire sale right now. They want. I think what we need is just we need a switch up, man. Like what we've got going on right now is not working. So let's just stop trying to throw the same shit out there every single week. And we need to switch up in coaching. We need to switch up in personnel. What'd you guys think of the Jalen Hurts throw? I like that. That was a good
zip
play.
on it.
That
was some zip on it, but come on.
That was the trick play I was asking for.
Yeah.
That was the trick
I like
play.
that play.
I almost got every single thing I wanted. I almost got every single thing I wanted. And
that play would have been nice had it came, time for that field goal.
Yeah. All the people that are talking about trading Ertz right now too, like what even is his value at this point? You know what I mean?
Not for the past 2 games.
I mean, it's not like you're going to get nothing, but like I'm saying, he hasn't been performing. So whatever value he did have in the beginning of the season, it's definitely dropped. So you're going to be selling low.
Well, I mean, he's already mentioned that he's going to do his best and then play out the rest of the year, which means he'll be holding out next year unless he gets the contract. I don't believe that's happening, especially after so far this season he hasn't shown that you're going to give him a contract after his performance so far. It seems that's one of the plays that really does irk me is Ertz and Wentz. They're not on the same page, and the games are on the line here. Like whether it's the Rams game last week, was not 2 weeks ago, 3rd and 5 with the simulated booze. This play right here, come on, man, that's pitch and catch between Ertz and Ertz and Wentz. So Paul from across the pond says Ertz is only thinking about himself instead of the team when he enters the field.
Seems like a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
Roman says trade Ertz.
At least that takes a little bit of slack off of Jeremy.
Now, Jeremy on Facebook, he says they don't want to pay the man, so they took him completely out of the offense. But defensive coordinators are also taking Zach Ertz out of the offense. Like, that's what you bracket Ertz.
They're in on it.
Zach Ertz is
they're in on the conspiracy.
He's going to get bracketed as his number one target. They're going to obviously force Travis Fulgham to be a thing and Greg Ward to be a thing. So, I mean, the offense is predictable. I mean, but every defensive coordinator is banking on this offense to falter with, like, practice squad guys, at the position, the wide receiver positions.
Should we open this up if anybody wants to jump in?
Sure.
Give their piece.
Fellas, I got to take the kids to the park. I told them I promised I would, so I'm going to jump off, give you guys some space.
Right,
we all getting together? We all getting together for next Sunday's game?
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. I'm not going to Baltimore anymore, so I'll let you know about that. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, dude. Yeah. I think this Eagles nation is at a loss of words right now because you're 3-1. You have the Baltimore Ravens coming in, who they're a pretty good football team as well,
to say the least.
Like, what do we expect in this football team moving forward? We just lost Lane Johnson. We've had that concern.
Yep.
Me and Evan were talking pregame about, that injury. It rearing its ugly head. Lane Johnson was one of our matchups we were talking about. I don't know, man. Jack Driscoll time. It's a weird state.
We're in a weird spot right now. We're in a weird spot. Got our man David in the green room though.
What's going on, fellas?
How you doing, my man? How you feeling?
Honestly, I'm not feeling as bad. I was thinking about it earlier, and I feel better about this loss than the last couple, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Well, give me the breakdown.
I'll give you the breakdown. So I put Zach Ertz, and you already read it out loud. I got no time for Zach Ertz right now. Either get it together or, come on now. You won all that money. You got the catch record. You're one of the best tight ends we've ever had. Either block and get your butt out of the way or catch the ball and break a tackle. If I see Zach Ertz catch the ball one more time and fall down trying to walk over his own feet, I'm out of here.
Oh, you mean what he's been doing his entire career, you mean?
Exactly. So I want to shout that Twitter account out because it's one of my favorites. It's Did Zach Ertz Break a Tackle? You can literally set your watch to that because every single time it's no, maybe, no, possibly, no. It's amazing. But, I mean, the O-line, it is what it is. They did as best as they can with the pieces that they have. I mean, you saw at the end, when the Steelers defense realized like this was the Eagles' last drive, you saw Bud Dupree kick off of Mailata and destroy Carson Wentz.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And it's just, I mean, Mailata, Herbig, it is what it is.
What you going to do, right?
Group gets healthy, I'm not expecting much from them.
That's what I mean. Like he played to a standard, but that last series, Dupree kicked his ass.
Yeah, and it's just like they knew, like, and that's when you put money into young linebackers and young D linemen, they feast. When they see that, oh, this is their last shot, they feast.
I think even one play they brought Ertz in to help Mailata out. Did you guys see that?
And he went right around Ertz.
Yeah, I'm like,
Ertz was like, sorry, it is. Come on, bro. Miles Sanders only had 11 carries.
Yeah, after the 75-yard run, too. Someone explain that to me. I can't, for the life of me, figure out why we went away from Miles Sanders running the ball.
Even with the shoddy O-line that we have, you can give him more than 11 carries. You saw what he did earlier in the game.
When he's breaking plays off like that, of course.
Now, Miles Sanders on the day, 11 attempts for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns.
What's that, 8 yards a carry?
Are you serious, bro? His longest was obviously 74 yards. But it's oh my God. I'm looking at that down, just like, really? You had 74 yards on one carry.
The positive I put Carson did better with his progressions because he has, confidence in his receivers. You see how that works. You confidence, you can throw the ball better. And the whole offense looks better. Obviously, Fulgham needs to be the number one. And here's the problem that I have is that the same thing happened to Greg Ward earlier this year and late last year. We'll get flashes of this and Fulgham, and then when Alshon miraculously recovers, they drop them to the bottom of the depth chart again, and they forget that it ever happened.
Yep.
So that next game when it's like, oh my goodness, we have Alshon, Deshaun, and Rager. And whenever Alshon rolls his ankles out in the second quarter, and then Deshaun pulls a hammy in 13 minutes left in the first quarter, and then we're just like, what's going on? It's because you hear there, it's Howie putting the time into the millions of dollars that he spent, and Gail said it earlier. The people who are making the catches, they cost $100K for us.
Yeah, I know.
That's
and that
me off.
Yeah, we're bringing in Puga to the chat, who's with us pre-game.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up,
We also have Jay Garcia. What's up, man?
Yeah, what's up, bro?
What's going on, Jeff? Yo, I agree with David though. Like, I mean, if you and with you as well, Evan, like if you go ahead and put a little bit more time into these young receivers on how well they're practicing all week and how they come into this game plan and play their asses off, like, hey, that's kind of like putting out a message to these veterans, like, you guys don't get your shit together. We have people that can go ahead and replace you. It's that easy,
bro.
And
I don't think we'd ever do that, though. I don't think.
No, you're right. We don't.
You gotta water the plants that are growing, bro. Mm-hmm. Like we keep on just dumping water on these dead plants. You know what I mean? Like we got a full garden that we could just develop. Go ahead. I'm just saying it's really annoying to me that like we talk so much about like, the value of draft picks and yada, yada, yada. Ultimately, to me, all the best players on this team end up coming through trades where we're trading away draft picks, or they end up being undrafted free agents that we just find diamonds in the rough. Our drafting sucks. And I could not imagine how much better this team could be considering how close we were against Pittsburgh Steelers with honestly a not as good a roster. We had a subpar roster compared to Pittsburgh. And how close we kept that game. We had an opportunity to win it, and we were still that close. And it's disappointing and aggravating.
Now, Jay, what's your point that you wanted to talk about?
So for me, I think I was just disappointed with the overall play on the defense. Like I
you see me in the comments saying Schwartz needs to be gone. If he's here by next season, I will probably just give up my Eagles card. It's ridiculous. Like, we're constantly I've said in the comments, he's like the ex-girlfriend that you think they're gonna change, and you're like, you're gonna change, I'm gonna stay with you, and then they just break your heart and then keep going back, and you keep going back. It's a toxic relationship.
It's like, I didn't see that one coming.
Stay there with it. Yeah, like, I mean, you know what to expect. Like, it's ridiculous. Offensively, I had a little bit of hope. I thought they played a lot better. But I don't see Ertz fully focused in every single game now. I feel like ever since that contract talk happened, it's really just fucked up the whole motion. I just don't think he's like in it. He's not in it right now.
Yeah, I don't feel like he's dialed in like he normally is. You guys remember the last time you saw Zach Ertz catch a first down and turn around and give a, excited first down or like get hyped? It's been a minute. I feel like he's got to get out of his head. He's got to become a leader on the football field, as well as in the locker room. Whatever the divide is, I think he's got to get there. I'm sure they're going to sit there and watch this on tape. And I think, are we all agreeing here that it was Ertz's fault?
On the first interception, it's not all Ertz's fault, no. But he does catch some blame for it. He gets a piece of the pie.
Because I'm seeing on the timeline, it was Ertz, it was Wentz. Either way, we're getting way too many turnovers. It's hard to win football games on the road when you turn the ball over. The defense came up with the turnover at the end of the game, which was nice. Yeah.
I mean, sorry. Go ahead, Poog. No, I missed my point. Go ahead.
Oh no, what I was
looking at the Eagles right now, fellas.
I know.
What I was gonna say is, on the Ertz thing, he just looks so disconnected. He's just going through the motions, and just doesn't seem right. I don't know if it's the timing with Carson Wentz. Of course, he's going to get part of that blame for the interception. But hopefully, they can get it together. I don't know if it's too little, too late, but Ertz has to come back. Ertz has to come back strong, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
I mean, you know who you have to talk to, right? I think this is a perfect opportunity for the Eagles Nation to talk to Julie Ertz. I think it's time for a heart-to-heart.
Intervention, a little intervention.
I'll take care of it.
I think really though, like you look at Zach Ertz and we're talking about how he's looking like he's not really playing with any juice. How like that just seems to be taken out of him. He's deflated 100%. And like I think to me it jumps off the page. Players that are out there playing with high energy, with that are playing with hunger, with a chip on their shoulder. And that's what I see in players like Greg Ward and Travis Fulgham. I see them out there and they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. They're playing because they want to prove something. Ertz, you have something to prove, bro. You're bitching over a contract, so go out there and prove it.
Here's my thing is that whenever we had
motivated to go out there and do it.
What was that?
I said you would think he'd be motivated to go out there and do it.
It takes a lot to get me mad, bro. I'm a very happy person. It takes a lot to get me this fired up.
Here's the thing, though. On third down, like, didn't y'all ever have that feeling where you're like, okay, we're going to Ertz, it's automatic. And now I just don't get that feeling anymore. Now it's just kind of like, oh, shit, who's going to get the ball?
Well, now it's Fulgham time. It's Fulgham time on third down. That's what that is. It's not Ertz time anymore.
Which I was totally fine with. You feed the man all day if he was having a hot game. Like, but now like you just don't have them going to Ertz anymore. It was just, I don't know. I just don't get that excited feeling. Now I'm just more like this every time I'm watching on third down.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like in the third downs, you'd be like, oh shit, all right, we got this. Ertz and Wentz are gonna go ahead and connect. We'll get our first down. Now it's like, fuck, who you gonna throw it to? Who's gonna get us the first down? Yeah. I hate feeling like that.
I was so excited about the Ertz and Goddard like possibility.
Yep.
Now, granted, the jury's not out, but the first time that made me go like, "Oh, this is special." Remember that Dallas game where we got cheated off of that like offensive pass interference for Goddard?
Yep, and Dallas broke that huge. I know.
Yeah, and had that huge touchdown run. They called it back.
Yeah, called it back. Yep.
I was like, boom, that's what we could do. And ever since that moment, either one has been injured and the other hasn't performed, or vice versa. And it's now just like I just want them both to be healthy. But I don't want Zach Ertz to look at Goddard going up and catching these touchdowns and then start acting like a little girl. It's like, you got to block. Clearly, you can't block.
Because, I mean, at the same time, he can return the favor for you.
Exactly.
Like, come on.
Goddard's out. Goddard will block out there, too. I've seen him a couple times on those. Whenever we used to have the entire offensive line in those pulls, Goddard's out there moving his feet. Zach Ertz isn't.
Yeah, and speaking of blocking on that long Miles Sanders run, I saw a J-Naw. It was a hold and a half that we got away with, but he was downfield blocking. He was in the right spot.
Now, if you look on the interwebs is already fast. It said if you look to Wikipedia, it says
he is already the best wide receiver to play for the Eagles since Terrell Owens.
He's expecting a new contract in the $15 million per year range by 5 p.m. this evening. He broke the record for most jersey sales in one quarter of the game. The internet is undefeated. It's now 5:15. It's now 5:15.
The truth.
But I saw someone
never lies.
I saw someone mention this in the chat. John Hightower. This is the end of the second half. My wide receivers coach would tell me always about hand placement, and he's cradling the ball versus attacking his hand should be the other way. That would have been a great catch, and that would have been a great touchdown at the end of the half. Is everyone pissed about that play? Because it just kind of went
to me. Like I looked at that and I was like, that's why he's a 5th-round wide receiver. Like that's what showed up to me. I was like, we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel as far as offensive passing options, and that's the bottom of the barrel. And like, I think he's a player that could develop, and we might get something out of him down the line. But he's a 5th-round wide receiver. It's just what it is.
Mm-hmm. The first play that was overthrown to him, where he dove for it, I gave him credit just for his effort because we weren't getting that much of 100%. Quite a bit of our receivers.
What would Zach Ertz have laid out like that today? I don't think so.
But then when that other one came and I'm looking at his hand placements, I'm like, oh, dude, what the hell was that? Like, that was horrible.
Yeah.
He had multiple chances, and that pissed me off because the first time I gave him the benefit of the doubt. But after that, I'm just kind of like, why are we throwing to him anymore? Like, why? Like, he's just becoming another J-Joe. There's no need. It was like Nelson Aguilar. Like, the same thing you had it. You're like, why are we throwing to him?
You just took the words out of my mouth. You see who scored a bomb today? It was Nelson Aguilar.
Hey, they did have some footage of J-Joe after his catch today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The umbrella is obviously just off frame. Can't see it in that video.
He was like mid celebrating when like, but there's no time, bro.
Yeah. Did you see two things? One, Fulgham's stat line is almost better than his entire career. J-Jaw after one game.
Yeah, one game.
And two, go back to what Garcia said. It's like when you saw Hightower drop it, and I was like, yeah, it's a 5th-round receiver. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, and no wonder Carson Wentz, as of last year, just only threw it to Ertz. It's because the people that we put on the field around him, J-Jaw, is running out of bounds, or they're
Deontay Burnett or whatever. Yeah. Yep.
I know I wasn't the only one that laughed when J-Jaw got that catch, and he probably felt like that was like his Super Bowl moment.
Yeah.
He came down with it. He's like, I got the catch. I'm like, quarter's over, buddy. Sorry.
There's 6 seconds, pal. And everyone's 30 yards away.
It was a nice catch, though. To be honest. It was a good catch, but it was like, again, it's coming up too short, man. Like, put us in position here. Like, that's.
And David, to build off your point even more, I think you said that in this game, his stat line is almost better than J-Jell's entire career. I'm pretty sure if you put the 2 games together, it is better than J-Jell's entire career. No, if you put last week and this week together for Travis Fulgham, I'm pretty sure it is better than his entire career.
Still J-Naw, folks.
Yeah.
Still J-Naw.
JS.
If we're gonna go around, if we had to give a game ball to one of the best players today for the Eagles, who would that be?
That's a layup, man. Layup.
Serious.
Yeah.
Well, I want to hear you say it. I want
Travis Fulgham, bro.
Put some respect on that.
It's the Travis Fulgham coming out party today.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that gave me hope. I was like, man, all right, we got a legit wide receiver in this kid. I like that.
Everybody done put in their request to go ahead and pick him off of waivers.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, honestly, do you guys? I feel like I'm kind of like hesitant to really push on the gas entirely. Do you think that this is going to be a consistent type of, obviously not 150 yards a game, but I'm saying, do you think that he can show up consistently each week going forward?
That all depends on the coaching game plan.
Yep.
Do they stick to that? Or do they go ahead and focus their attention again to these asses that can't stay healthy and whatever the case may be, man?
That's according to Dougie Peterson. That's what it is, because he's the first receiver we've had that and it reminds me of Alshon's catch in the Super Bowl that like actually go up and attack the ball. A lot of receivers we have who are shorter or smaller in frame, they'll let the ball come to them.
John Hightower just a second ago.
Exactly. And Fulgham is one of the first ones in a while that he'll go up and snag the ball or go up for a contested catch. And that's why we're excited for Rager, because he has that ability. But if it turns into just use him for screens, I'm just like, all right, Doug, whatever. Like,
right,
you're done, man.
Yeah. And what was your guys' thoughts on there was one play that's kind of being forgotten about in that game where Wentz was going down and then he tried to like kind of shovel the pass forward to Corey Clement. Bro, I was watching that. I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro?
There was a couple.
That, to me, was just another like poor decision he was ready to make there. I'm like, bro.
He took a shot earlier in the game, and I'm like, oh shit, okay. And then he started like rubbing his ribs, like, all right, is it time to see Hurts come in? Then yes, that play. There was a couple plays where throw away the fucking ball, like throw it away. He went down with the ball, cost us some yards. And then yes, that play to Corey Clement was like, what the hell are you doing? Because that could have easily been caught as a fumble.
Easily.
You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah, they got lucky on that one.
The game. I don't remember what it was, but why?
What was that, David?
I said, why was Clement in the game at that point? Like, I don't know when that was. I missed it, but why is he in the game?
I don't know.
Miles Sanders.
He's like
11.
He's Dougie P's like number one, I guess, in the red zone is what Doug said a couple weeks ago.
Which should not be the case at all, man. What has Corey Clement shown in years to tell? Like literally since the Super Bowl, what has Corey Clement shown you that he should be the number one guy in the red zone? Fuck that, man.
I mean, the thing about I get kind of like frustrated is there's a lot of things that fans see, and this podcast sees, and they're rearing their ugly head. Whether it's not having a serviceable number 2 running back step up, you haven't seen anything from Clement, haven't seen anything from Boston Scott. The injuries we talked about, the Nate Gary we've been talking about, the linebackers forever. While in the draft, we've been talking about drafting a potential linebacker in the 2nd or 3rd. Well, we did get Davion Taylor, but he's not even getting valuable reps yet. Kayvon Wallace is on the field.
Sean Bradley sightings.
Sean Bradley,
which was nice,
like that, and they're rolling him out in the goal line packages, which I mean that's showing a lot of trust in a guy like that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't show a lot of trust in Davion Taylor, who's your 3rd round pick, not on the field. So to me, that's like, again, I'm looking at the organization. Like, look, you drafted people in the 3rd round, they should give you valuable reps. Like, I don't care. I mean, if they're not, you start seeing like draft picks like Sharif Miller, working on my game. I'll see you next year, or Donald Pumphrey. You haven't seen the best of me yet. Like I want my second day picks to
not be trash.
Something. Again, it's frustrating me. Like, because I don't get paid for this, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't get paid to do this. Y'all get paid to make the right decisions, and they're getting them wrong. And then you see a guy like Claypool go off, and you're like, bro, look.
Sidney Jones had that pick today?
I haven't refreshed the page in 30 seconds. Is Jim Schwartz still a part of the organization?
Yeah. Sidney Jones caught a pick today against Deshaun Watson.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. A diving interception.
Did Houston lose again today?
No, they won.
Okay.
No, they won.
But
what about Atlanta?
Saying, Gail, like Hassan
Atlanta lost.
What is a Hassan Ridgeway? What is going on?
Yeah. Dude, Jannard Avery seems like he's stepping up. Like as far as this the defensive line, like honestly, this defensive line is the least of my worries right now. There's some things that I kind of look at like with a slanted eye, but as far as like this defensive line, they're not my main concern right now. We got other holes.
I mean, you're just hoping that this offense shows some kind of consistency. Those 3 and outs in the beginning of the game.
Oh.
You're just like, really? Come on now. But again, when you start looking at who's actually playing, you're just like, I couldn't believe that. I'm looking at Carson Wentz go to the sideline. He's high-fiving his lineman. He's looking at Mailata. He goes to Kelsey, and then he goes to Herbig, and then Matt Pryor. I'm like, look at this offensive line, man. Like we're still in the game.
Do you guys think that Doug Peterson has too much on his plate? I mean, you look at the fact that we don't have an offensive coordinator. You look at the fact that our defensive coordinator is complete trash, and Doug Peterson doesn't want to give up the play calling. Do you think Doug Peterson's just he's got too much on his plate right now? Like I think we need to switch it up, give him some help.
What's he really have on his plate though, besides play calling?
I mean, what I'm saying is that we don't have an offensive coordinator. Realistically, and we don't like our defensive coordinator is big trash. That's what I'm saying. As far as like, I'm not saying that Doug Peterson's in charge of the defensive play calling. What I'm saying is that he seems like the only man standing right now.
I mean, the man did help us win the Super Bowl, but did give up like 500 yards to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But I mean, talk about looking forward. Look at the schedule here. The Baltimore Ravens.
After the Ravens, it kind of, I don't mind it. You know what I mean? There's New York, Dallas, New York. Those are teams that are trash right now. Division game. But
I mean, you got the Giants twice.
It would be nice to go ahead and see them at least beat one of these contending teams.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been nice to get a win against Pittsburgh right here, because then if you catch an L versus Baltimore, then you can beat the Giants. You can battle it out with the Cowboys, come back and beat the Giants again, and then you have the Cleveland Browns who you're battling with. Seattle, potential L there. Green Bay Packers, who seem to be playing good ball. New Orleans Saints, Arizona Cardinals, and then Dallas Cowboys, and round out that the Washington football team, who already beat us.
Yeah, honestly, dude, weeks 11 through 15 is pretty rough.
Yep.
That is pretty rough, man. The Browns are better this year. Then you got Seattle, Green Bay, New Orleans, Jesus Christ, and then you've got Kyler Murray in Arizona and DeAndre Hopkins. That's a much better team than last year.
Oh my goodness, they're going to destroy our corners.
Yeah, they are.
Now I want to check in with the fan base here. How are you guys? Like, I mean, 1-3-1. How are you all feeling at this moment? Are you? Is there
I'm great.
Ounce of positivity moving forward in the next?
I'm gonna laugh if Cowboys lose today and we still remain in first. Like that's the thing. That's the horrible part. We're in the NFC East. Yeah. So Cowboys lose today, I'm still gonna laugh at all the Cowboys fans and be like, "Hey, look, who's the first?" I'm sorry.
Well, I'm gonna allude to what Evan said. After the Ravens, there's 3 winnable games. You got the Giants, you got the Cowboys, and the Giants again, and a bye in between that. So there's an opportunity there to gain some momentum.
Yep.
And go into that gauntlet of hard teams that we're gonna play that might wreck our shit. And try to survive that.
The way the NFC East is playing, though, we might be able to seal the division after that second Giants game.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that makes a point. Like, you start catching L's right here, and you start seeing fire sales. Because in a year, we're going into a year where we're looking to save some money.
Right. So, but I also put it. I know it's kind of a long shot here, and I talked about it, I guess, this morning or last week, was making a trade in season at a position of need. Right now, a position of need, like wide open, everybody can see, is linebacker. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if there's somebody from another team that Howie can look at and make a trade for, or
how about play the young linebacker, throw him to the wall. Can you be worse? Can you be worse than Nate Gary at this point?
No.
No, no, you can't. You really can't.
No. I would.
Bro was out here using the N-word, and it was like a blip on the radar, and he's still getting killed in the game, and we're more concerned about him covering Claypool than he is using the N-word. Like, that's how, for black people, be like I'm more concerned about that right now.
Yeah.
Like, how upsetting. Like, this is where we are. Like, bro, come on now.
Remember
Get him out of here.
What sums up the Eagles team in 2020? I saw someone tweet this out. Was that Duke Riley, who caused that fumble, got carted off immediately after the fumble.
Yeah, how was that? What the hell happened there?
It was like, that's what happened. Oh my God. And his leg is like broken. Like, that's what it is with this team. It doesn't matter.
And the thing that honestly, like, we're dying for Will Parks to come back right now, but honestly, like, he's gonna have to get up to game speed, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like he's gonna be able to come in here and then just like instantly be, our saving grace. He needs to be like, he hasn't practiced, leading up to this point. Like, you know what I mean?
Short and cleats.
What a stat!
Jay says Gary has a nerve to be wearing Georgia cleats. I mean, you can't be wearing goat cleats out here and playing like a
like trash
and talking like trash.
Trash.
Did you see him down by the goal line? Like, he's got his hands up. He's just out of place, man. Even in the touchdown celebrations, Gary's out of place. Always.
I helped in ref YMCA, like first and second grade soccer. And I see the same thing that Nate Gary does. They don't know where they are placement, so they kind of look around or their hands are up and they wait too long to move. It's the same thing. It's that the ball is already gone, like the Rams.
Got to anticipate.
The ball is past him, and I'm supposed to be over here. Or like the Cincinnati Bengals game where he's facing the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what are you doing, bro?
Speaking of anticipation, how about that one Jalen Mills play when he's playing 40 yards off the wide receiver?
Oh, for Juju.
Oh, dude, what was that?
Is that
Juju did like a 4-yard slant?
Yeah.
and fucking Jalen Mills was like 15 yards downfield already.
It was like a quarter's coverage, and there was no one in anywhere around. So obviously you're gonna.
He was the only wide receiver on that side of the field, right?
You're gonna stay with him, then don't leave him because who else are you gonna cover?
Like, so, dude, Jalen, this is year 5, bro. Come on.
At this point, it is what it is. As a podcast, we're sitting here at a loss for words because you're 1-3-1 and it doesn't look good next week either. It's a tough football team, and you're hoping. You go through that gauntlet of NFC East teams, and we showed that we've played down to competition. We showed that we just play down because at this point we can't be saying we play down to competition. We are dealing with injuries, but when you lose to the Washington football team, you tie the Bengals. You can't be looking past the Browns anymore. You can't be looking past the Giants either. You can't look past the Cowboys, who are our rivals. So this is a gauntlet right here that will test the testicular fortitude of this football team. You got it. You either got it or you don't. And these next couple weeks are going to tell us.
Honestly, dude, this is just straight poverty, dude. Remember when, like, we used to, back in 2017, 2018, even when we used to think about a game and be like, oh, this is an easy win. This is an easy dub. Remember when we used to roll on teams? Remember that Denver game? We are so far removed from that. Every single week this week, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. It's going to be a hard-fought game. There's no easy wins this year at all.
I do see that. Seth, I've seen that several times, and Seth Joyner will say it every single week that Nate Gary should not be suiting up and he should not be on the field because he's not an NFL linebacker.
Yeah, he played safety in college, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
You're wondering if you brought in, like, I wonder what Seth Joyner would do as a linebackers coach to fire these guys up. I mean, the game is different than it was back when Seth played. Like, it was a little bit more physical, a lot more running, physical running game. Now it's like these hybrid running linebackers who can play in space and coverage and who aren't a detriment. Like you don't see Levon Kirkland anymore at linebacker, guys like that. But it's at a point where play the young guys. If we're gonna learn anything from Fulgham, play the young guys.
What was your guys' thoughts on Slay today?
He had a rough one, man. He had a rough one.
And we need to throw some blame his way too.
Yeah, I mean, I do think him getting kneed by that 300-pound offensive lineman last week did not help him this week, having to deal with Claypool to cut and move around. But he did get work. He did get work today.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't have his best game, man.
No Darius Slay jersey giveaway.
I don't think Darius Slay was our biggest issue today, man. I really do think that play calling and our coaching was the
Nate
big
Gary
issue.
is a problem every week. So I mean that's what we're going to talk about. I mean Darius Slay, I think did he get injured?
He was injured. He got hurt. Remember the last week during that hurdle in San Fran because that lineman took dove to block and literally bent his knee. And so he dropped out, and then he came back a couple plays later. But someone that big going that fast at your knee, that's going to affect you when you have to, work with some of these receivers like Claypool, who's kind of lanky and tall and slight. You could tell he was not running 100%. You could tell.
Right.
And back to Fulgham. During the game, I saw that stat where they were showing his stat line. He had 10 catches for 152, 1 touchdown. And it said the last Eagles wide receiver with 10-plus catches and 150 yards was Jeremy Maclin back in 2014. That's unbelievable to know how long it's been since we've had somebody have a game like that at wide receiver. I mean,
we have Marcus Walker. He emailed the 4th and John email account, and he's saying that it is time to move on from the old heads to Sean and Alshon and let the young guys take over. That seems to be another common theme today.
Nobody's taking Alshon's contract.
Exactly.
When you pay that much money for those guys, $30 million cap space allotted to the wide receivers, I'm gonna make you play wide receiver, janitor, whatever it takes. Like I'm gonna get my money's worth. Like I don't care what. Like at this point, it's like, I mean, talking about this is a weird spot that we're in as a fan base because the NFC East is so bad that you can literally make it into the playoffs with maybe 6 wins.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's truly insane.
Like you get 6 wins,
it's not even close to 500. Not even close.
So it's like we can't be mathematically pushed out of this thing for a while. So we as fans can be beat up internally for weeks on end. We could be catching L's, but still be in this thing. And that's a weird space to be. But that's the part where you got to hope that what this Eagles team looks like weeks down the road is that Goddard's back, Ertz is back, Alshon's back, Deshaun is back, and then you have the younger wide receivers who stepped up.
Yeah, which means Travis Fulgham's going to be taken completely out of the game plan, and we're going to go with vanilla bullshit.
I mean, imagine having a consistent offense like this. This offense, rather, while we dunk all the way down, imagine if we had a consistent offense. What would these games look like? I mean, you do have to ask that question.
Next week?
What's that?
Do you see those two back next week, Deshaun and Alshon?
They could.
I hope. I mean, listen, I think we would. It could be very helpful going into playing against Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean, and then the schedule too.
Imagine if we had Rager, Goodwin,
What's that?
And all those dishes in the background.
Yeah, that was Puga over there. Washing dishes over there.
Multitask.
Devin says, question. He said, "Are we bugging on Doug yet?" I mean, we've been bugging on Doug. Doug, we're talking about play calling. I feel like he's done a better job calling plays around the situation that we're in. Obviously, our offensive line's banged up. Wide receivers are out. Who knew Travis Fulgham was going to go off like this? Nobody did. Like we're dealing with moving parts. So for Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz, I think they've got back on better pace the last 2 weeks, but prior to that, the shit was off.
Doug seesaws right now for everybody, the Eagles fan. He will have a great game and follow it up with absolute trash.
Yeah.
And then kind of in the middle, and then like he just goes from one extreme to the other. And there hasn't been a consistent line of good games for a long time now.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm taking ice cream out of the locker room. No ice cream for weeks.
I'm taking it out of Doug's home freezer. He don't deserve that shit right now.
So I mean, if we're embarking on an hour, obviously Eagle fans, we want to talk for days on end. But going around the room and in the chat, if you guys have any other questions you want to ask. But Prime, if you're going to give Eagle fans or any sense of light down the road, what are you looking at in this football team?
Stay confident. I mean, the rest of the division is actually helping us out. So, with everybody coming back healthy, maybe we could go ahead and put something together at the last minute and pull this thing through. At the end of the day, it's fly Eagles fly. Bleeding green all day. But that's all I can just say. Stay confident. Let the rest of the division do their shitty work, and we'll come out of this thing.
Now, David,
on top.
Same thing. It's just be excited for the possibility of the offense. That's what we saw this game. There's moving pieces, and if Doug starts actually getting these players back, our offense can put up like we did today, 30 points. Like we can do that consistently. We just need the people to come back from injury. So I'd be more excited than that. And Miles Sanders is the real deal. That's what 100%. That's what I'm most excited about. He's the real deal.
Yeah, Puga.
Oh yeah. So my thing is, get everybody back healthy. Obviously, Carson showed that when you give him time to throw the ball and actually have timing with some of the receivers, he can light it up. Prime said it earlier. So hopefully next week we get Alshon, we get Deshaun, and we get a lot more Fulgham too. And sky's the limit with this team if they get it together.
Eagles Nation. Eagles Nation.
Evan's face looks so good.
Yeah, because
all the time. You look so defeated right now.
Well, I'm putting myself up on a tee right now to get whacked. Is exactly where I'm leading off with here, because I told people before this game to smash the under. I'm sorry, guys. If you ended up putting money on my behalf, feel free to ream me out. I don't know what to tell you. I thought this was going to be a complete defensive game. As far as the outlook for the Eagles, I have a lot of faith in the fact that the rest of our division sucks. I think it's hilarious and horrifying at the same time that we could be in the playoffs with 6 wins at the end of the season. Whether or not we'll be proud of that, I won't be. Whether or not I think we're going to be able to do anything with that, I don't think we would be. This is just, it's going to be a long, rough season. Every game is going to be a fight. There are no easy wins. But I'm looking forward to the development of the players that seem to be popping off. The few that do.
I'm giving myself the Gale face. I feel like we have an opportunity to either see younger players develop. We're in a weird space right now with injuries. I mean, at this point, I start getting geeked about seeing Jack Driscoll. I get excited about seeing Mailata, see how he performs. Yep. I get excited about Fulgham, what he did today. Greg Ward, his level of consistency. Again, I feel like there's so many moving parts offensively. I have issues with the offense. Doug Peterson is doing as good a job as he can with all the injuries and a lack of reps with all these players. Hopefully, they get the injured players that come back, give Carson Wentz weapons that he trusts and has had many reps with. We could see a different offense, hopefully. Defensively, again, Gary is the wounded duck. He is the one that gets picked off in the herd. It's going to happen time and time again. Expect to see more of Gary out of position and picked on as we move forward. If I'm to think anything positive, we're getting to see young talent. You're just hoping that some of these guys are playmakers that stick with this unit. But that's what you have to start looking at, because you're 1-3-1 and going through a gauntlet. and you don't have an identity of your football team, you can say they showed a lot of heart this week. That's what I can say. They showed a lot of heart this week. They just didn't get the job done. So,
Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure as always, gentlemen.
All right. Hopefully next week it's a bit of a different.
Hey, the Eagles suck, but at least we have each other.
Yeah, I mean we're in a situation where we're in a pandemic. We have a losing football team, but we have one tie. We have a tie. We have a win. We have young developing talent, and we have each other.
I had a thought.
That's all we have.
Can you imagine what Lamar is going to do to Nate Gary next week?
Oh man, see.
No, too much.
I've had enough pain for one Sunday. I got to give myself a week for that.
But we just want to thank you guys for supporting us, being there for the pregame, coming back for the postgame, listening to the podcast, subscribing, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Appreciate all the love and support. At the end of the day, it's always fly, Eagles fly, and we will see you guys in the next one.